I'm bored out of my skull. But orders are orders, and my orders are to stand right here.
I'm just saying that Violet didn't have to yell at us for not fixing the elevator before she did.
I can't believe she made you cry like that.
She said some very hurtful things. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
It is 4:26 on December 13, 2012. Debriefing of Sigma Team's Cairo operation. Debriefing conducted by Abstergo psychiatrist Tibor Hashek, Level 7, and Director of Operations Letitia England, Level 9. State your name and rank for the record.
Juhani Otto Berg, service number OP114-8506-B, Master Templar.
How would you classify the result of your Cairo mission, Master Berg?
I would call it a complete success. The new Sigma team performed admirably.
That's going a bit far, don't you think?
The target, William Miles, was apprehended and the first civilization artifact was retrieved. Both were handed off to Warren Vidic without incident. May I ask how you would rate the mission?
We're pleased with the results, but not with the methods with which you achieved them.
I see. May I ask why?
You went off mission. You were supposed to apprehend the target at the airport, not at the museum.
When the target emerged from the plane, he was posing as a tour guide for a class of high school students on a field trip.
A member of Sigma team informed us you aborted the mission then and there.
I will not deny this, but tell me, who talked?
I cannot reveal that.
No matter, I will find out on my own. Back to business. The target was very smart, but also very sloppy.
Explain.
The target possessed advanced counter-surveillance techniques, but lacked the skill to implement them properly.
The target was trained as an assassin since birth.
I am aware. However, it has been many years since he was an active field agent. He must have been very desperate to go himself, as these days he is more of a talker, a puppet master.
And what are you?
A predator.
A predator who defied orders because of the presence of some schoolgirls.
I prefer to think of myself as one who can choose the most opportune time to strike. The last time I followed orders to the letter was in Florence. That did not end well for anyone.
Was it that? Or did the students perhaps remind you of your daughter?
I separate my work and personal life completely.
Your daughter's recovery has been remarkable. I do hope her progress continues.
Please, don't.
I beg your pardon.
I find your attempt to threaten my child vulgar and unnecessary.
Explain.
Abstergo's pharmaceuticals have given my child a chance at a life free from pain. And I have at last found what I believe to be my calling in life.
And for that, we expect obedience.
For that you have my loyalty. The involvement of the children in Egypt compromised the original mission. Nothing more.
We already have one Master Templar that we can barely control. I don't like the idea of having two loose cannons out there.
With all due respect to Master Cross, while he is gifted, he is mentally disturbed.
We mean no disrespect, but after losing your team in Florence, we felt a need to keep a close eye on you.
I achieved all mission objectives, and achieved them without bloodshed. So my only question for you is, am I in command of Sigma team or not?
As you said, the results were impeccable.
Then I believe this meeting to be at an end. I request permission to leave.
Do you have something more important to do?
I am going to find out who among my team talked to you. I will not tolerate that kind of insubordination.
I think we can stop here.
The briefing ended at 4:34. Transcript to be sent to Alan Ricken for security clearance.
Haytham Kenway remains a controversial figure for me. I have great respect for him. After all, he was the Grand Master of the Colonial Rite, charged with finding a precursor site. Haytham was cunning and ruthless, but he had a streak of emotional weakness that ultimately triggered his downfall. He lost his father when he was a child, and the British Grand Master Reginald Birch raised him to become a Templar Knight. Haytham eventually learned that his father, Edward, had been an assassin. That he chose to stay a Templar, rather than follow in his father's footsteps, indicates to me that he believed he was already on the right path. When Haytham discovered that Birch was the one who murdered his father, he and his sister killed him in revenge. I believe this was the beginning of his downfall. Templars kill for efficiency, not petty emotions. When he discovered that his son Connor was an assassin working against him in the colonies, the same emotional weakness stayed his blade. A pity Connor did not show him the same mercy.
Helix is still up and running, but it looks like there could still be some interruptions in the service. This is a restricted area.
I just don't get modern art.
The first civilization entity known as Juno re-emerged from the Grand Temple in New York in December 2012. Although no longer a corporeal being, she exists as a kind of digital consciousness somewhere in the Abstergo cloud. To accomplish her goals in the real world, Juno uses two types of people. The first is another precursor consciousness that emerges in a human being at random. This person is commonly known as a sage. Juno also holds sway over a group of disciples called the Instruments of the First Will, who believe it is humanity's natural role to serve the first civilization. Abstergo is currently using the First Will as a cheap and hands-off way of acquiring pieces of Eden and other relics. However, I suspect that the reverse is also true, that they are using our resources to locate objects that will help them further their own goals. I do not trust them, but for now, All I can do is have DaCosta monitor their activities. Juno's motives are unclear. Although she has made one attempt to possess a corporeal body, she appears to be more powerful as a digital entity. Agent DaCosta fears that should humanity ever achieve singularity, a fusion of humanity and machines, Juno would become unstoppable. Ironically, it is Abstergo itself which is driving civilization in that direction.
This game is the only thing that helps me get through the day.
I'm hungry.
I just don't get modern art.
About it anymore.
Like Hatham Kenway, Daniel Cross came from an assassin bloodline, as the Orlov family had at least 2 generations who served the Brotherhood. Daniel Cross's history of drug addiction and animus-induced psychosis should not take away from his many accomplishments for the Templar cause. Under the influence of Warren Vidic, he was planted into the Brotherhood and earned their trust, eventually meeting their reclusive mentor. Then his subliminal programming activated, and he killed the mentor, triggering the first great purge of the modern age. Al-Mualim, Haras, Fali Sel Tradat, Baptiste, Duncan Walpole, Hatham Kenway, Lucy Stillman, Daniel Cross. These are but a few prominent examples of something I've always felt. That there will always be assassins who are willing to abandon their cause to serve ours. Yet there is no one who embodies this idea better than Shay Cormac. And I want the assassins to confront this painful reality.
Do you care to explain what happened in Paris?
Gavin Banks led a team of assassins to your laboratory and destroyed it.
That lab was supposed to be completely off the grid. How did they find it?
Banks is a known associate of Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane, who have infiltrated Abstergo before. He is also not your typical assassin brawler. He follows information. They found a way to access your Helix servers. Nothing is off the grid anymore.
That facility was dedicated to studying the sage we recovered from Montreal last year.
If you had informed me of its existence, Sigma Team could have protected your interests.
Did you engage Banks' team?
Sorkin and I tracked them from Paris to La Rochelle, where their ship was waiting for them. We fought, but we were outnumbered. Sorkin was stabbed 7 times by an assassin we have identified as Galina Voronina.
And you let them get away.
Let's be very clear. I was trained to hunt and kill assassins. It was you who disbanded my team and sent me on a fool's errand across the surface of the Earth. I warned you this would happen.
You know what? I can admit when I'm wrong. You have my permission to reform Sigma Team.
I need DaCosta back.
Impossible. She's still in Montreal.
Unacceptable.
I've apologized for my oversight, Berg, but don't push me. The fact is, we need to find new sages. Alvaro Grammatica tells me that Melanie Le May has a few promising leads in Montreal.
When will DaCosta be finished?
She's ahead of schedule on security upgrades and firewalls, but Helix is a target for assassins, Erudito, and the first civilization consciousness. So, there have been some setbacks.
Is the building physically secure?
There's security on site.
Send me that.
Oh? I thought you were too good to be wasted on such trivial matters.
I wanted DaCosta back on my team, and if that building is a target, I need to make sure she's looked after. I will also improve their security in my own way.
Very well, I'll start preparing the necessary documents. Like DaCosta, you'll be a consultant from Abstergo Industries, there to help bring them up to speed on some new policies.
In the meantime, send some extra agents to Paris. I suspect there may still be assassins lurking there.
I'm bored out of my skull. But orders are orders, and my orders are to stand right here.
How about now? No? Now? No. Shit. Why isn't this working? But have you tried it, though?
No, the story's told in rhyme. It doesn't sound like my thing.
How can you dismiss it without even playing it?
Are there PvP death matches in it?
What? No. It's a beautiful turn-based RPG.
Pass.
I'm so glad I went to university for this.
Okay, the numbskull is in another Animus session, and I've required caffeine. All is right with the world.
Good.
This isn't really your kind of mission, is it, boss?
Every mission is important in its own way.
Still, I bet you'd rather be out with the rest of the team, hunting Sean Hastings or something.
Wouldn't you?
Hell yeah. I want a front row seat for that show.
Any word from Sorkin?
He's scheduled to update me in 43 minutes.
Good.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
What's it like, using an Animus?
I went through the Animi training program. It felt like the drills we used to do in the UT Jaeger.
You never use a normal Animus like this one? To relive your own genetic history?
Only once.
Really? Who were you?
I was a young man. On the Viking raid on Lindsey Farm.
793, northeastern coast of England. Sorry, history nerd. So, how was it?
It was summer. Good sailing weather. The monastery was a center for religious studies, and we crashed into the city like a tidal wave.
And?
We pillaged and burned. They thought we were demons. The details of the memory were so vivid. I lost myself in the bloodlust. I defeated a Saxon, a great warrior, but did not want to kill him. I invited him to join our clan.
Ah, Norse adoption rituals. The chance to sail the world with the Vikings.
Yes, A chance to see the world as it really is.
What happened then?
He wept. Then he cried out that God had abandoned his people and that nothing remained but chaos. I felt such pity for him. I killed him without a second thought.
After we're done here, are we gonna have to kill the numbskull?
We will see.
I'm bored out of my skull. But orders are orders, and my orders are to stand right here.
Given the nature of our current investigation, I have been looking at other assassins who, despite themselves, have helped the Templar cause. The first is Clay Kaczmarek, who infiltrated Warren Vidick's Animus project in Rome. He became the project's Subject 16. Kaczmarek's rich ancestry helped Vidick to identify the Renaissance assassin Ezio Auditore as a person of interest. Driven mad by overexposure to the Animus, he committed suicide. However, Kaczmarek may have unexpectedly become useful again. While in the Animus, Subject 16 came into contact with the first civilization entity known as Juno. Perhaps studying his bizarre Animus experiences can help us find a way to deal with the looming threat Juno promises. With Subject 16 out of the picture, Vidick needed a replacement. Desmond Miles, a runaway assassin, was captured in September 2012 and was used as Animus Subject 17 to further the search for an Apple of Eden. He managed to escape and uncovered an imminent threat to the planet. A solar flare similar to the one that wiped out the precursor race over 75,000 years ago. Desmond Miles also reactivated a first civilization temple in New York and used it to save the world, but it cost him his life. Abstergo recovered his body. In death, Desmond Miles became Sample 17, and his valuable genetic data was uploaded to the cloud servers in order to benefit all branches of Abstergo. Whether they live or die, we must continue to find ways to make the assassins work for us.